We have with us Mr. Rajan Narsinghen, who is the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs for Government of Mauritius. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. And we speak at a time when there's so much of focus with regards to building bridges as far as Indian diaspora is concerned. Talk to us about the India-Mauritius relationship. There's a very large delegation that has come here. What's been their feedback like so far? What is the messaging and also the expectation of the relationship from here on?
So I would say namaste, good morning, vanakkam, namaskar to all our brothers and sisters in India. So the delegation that we have with us, we've got two ministers attending this conference, but we've got a big delegation of 300 people. I think it's the biggest one. So the sort of zeal and the enthusiasm for our Mauritians to come here in a way testified to the sort of relationship. It's a special relationship that we have been having with India for centuries now. And you know, we had a wave of Indian indentured laborers coming to Mauritius. But also prior to that, we had skilled workers coming from Tamil Nadu. When the island was still under the French occupation. And over the years, we've seen, even before independence, we acceded to independence in 1968. So even before that time, our late Prime Minister, considered the father of the nation, Sir Sivasagar Ramgoolam, has always been having a sort of special relationship with India. And at that time, your Prime Minister, then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji, was Prime Minister. So over the years, different Prime Ministers have been coming to power, especially in India. But this relationship has been on, and I would say, improved over time. And just 2 months ago, we have our new Prime Minister, who was Prime Minister before, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam. He's come back to power. And Dr. Navin Ramgoolam also, as Prime Minister, and even Mr. Paul Béranger, the Deputy Prime Minister, they are charismatic figures, and they have also a special vision for Africa, but also have a vision for the relationship that we have with India.
In fact, I was just coming to that, sir, that with the change in government, there is a broad continuity in terms of foreign policy and the direction, but the objectives and the key focus areas under the new government for the India-Mauritius relationship.
You see, irrespective of government, of course, we did not agree with the previous government on many systemic issues. And now we're going to rectify. We're going to, our Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, and Mr. Paul Béranger will implement our political manifesto. But fortunately, when it comes to foreign relations, diplomatic relations, I think there will be no change. On the contrary, I think Dr. Navin Ramgoolam will consolidate that relationship. And yesterday itself, with a fleeting meeting, very short meeting and exchange of a few words with your Prime Minister, Modi ji. He reiterated his invitation to our Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam. And I'm sure I sent a message to the Prime Minister. And I'm sure in the coming days, coming weeks, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam will be visiting your country. And it will be a great opportunity for the two Prime Ministers to chart a new path to beef up that relationship between the two countries.
Sir, Mauritius sits at a very important geostrategic location. It was also the gateway as far as Africa is concerned, the larger Indian Ocean region. How do you see India's role in that entire region going forward, especially when there is competition that's taking place with China?
You see, I don't think it's, for us at least, we are, you know, Mauritius has always been relatively neutral. We are like a sort of small Switzerland. We practice a policy of neutrality. And but you know that the location of Mauritius is very important. Not only Mauritius, we've got a number of sister islands, including Agalega, Diego Garcia. And as you know, we are on the brink of getting back Diego Garcia. But getting it back doesn't mean that what the British and the Americans have got their military base. So we all have concerns also for the security of the region. And I think India and the Western countries and other powers, they've got an important role to keep, because our sort of vision of the Indian Ocean, we are a small dot in the Indian Ocean, but we've got a vision of peace.
Yes.
We want the Indian Ocean to be a zone of peace, and for the balancing of powers among the what you call the superpowers.
Yes.
So we're going to maintain this sort of vision and strategy of neutrality. So this will also, in a way, encourage us to have to deepen our relationship with a number of countries. Of course, India occupies a privileged position. You mentioned Africa. You see, yes, it is true that we've got an important section of the population coming from, hailing from India, originating from India. We are proud to be of Indian origin, many among us. But don't forget that we've got many of our brothers and sisters, Mauritian brothers and sisters, also coming from Africa, and also a few other continents. So we are proud to be a sort of melting pot in the world. And so this is where I think India has to capitalize on this strategic position, location, where we are a sort of gateway to Africa. Africa is very important to note, is a continent of tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I think this is my own view, that both India and Mauritius, we are not using enough Mauritius as a strategic hub to penetrate Africa. One thing.
Location. I'll come to that, sir. Just to sort of come in here in terms of the strategic location of Mauritius, and also you mentioned about peace, you mentioned about stability. India has been a net provider of stability and security to Mauritius. How do you see its role going forward, specifically for Mauritius?
As I mentioned to you, we have a number of agreements with the Western world and other powers. And so India is already helping us to monitor our maritime zone. As you know, besides our zone of, within Mauritius, we've got extensive exclusive economic zone, because we've got, as I mentioned, all these islands, Sagalega and Diego Garcia and so on. So we don't have the capacity. And this is where we've been relying on India, and we'll rely more on India to monitor and to do the. Because we are, you see, our two new pillars of the economy, one would be IT and AI, and also what we call the blue economy.
Right.
But what is important for us as a small dot in the Indian Ocean, we believe in sustainable development. So when I'm asking you, appealing to your businessmen to come to Mauritius, use Mauritius, for example, our free port has not been optimized, has not been fully used. So we want your businessmen, your government to come and use Mauritius as that sort of hub to penetrate Africa. But my own view is that when we go to Africa, we should not do like some other businessmen have been doing, so other people have been doing. We have to respect our African brothers and sisters. So we have to do development in a very sustainable manner.
Which is why you're asking for sustainable development from Indian companies. That's a very important point you made, sir. Yeah.
We want to green the economy, not only in Mauritius, but also in Africa. So let us start. When it's starting something afresh, so we have to start it on solid grounds.
Yeah.
And I believe, I'm a firm believer of sustainable development.
That's great.
So even for the blue economy, we've got a huge potential. So this is where I'm inviting all your businessmen to seize these golden opportunities, these mines.
Potential is the word at which we can end this conversation, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV, and we hope that the potential.
Special greetings to all our Indian brothers and sisters, but all the people of the Indian diaspora from multiple nooks and corners around the world.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.